What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. We are here with another My Adventures with Superman reaction, and this time, it's episode 7, Kiss Kiss Fall in Portal. And Nikki, you actually told me there's a little hidden anime meaning in the episode of this title. Why don't you let everyone know?
Oh my god, I was so excited when I found this out. Like, you can confirm, I was like freaking out.
Yeah, you were like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. And I'm like, what?
Yes, and so for those who are into anime, it might be reminiscent of a certain lyric, Kiss Kiss Fall in Love, which is the opening theme of Soccer Kiss, the theme song for Ouran High School Host Club.
Kiss, kiss, fall in love.
Which I was obsessed with in high school. I immediately messaged our friend Paulina, who's been on the channel, and she immediately got the reference. I didn't even have to say what it was.
So we can expect I say we can expect anime references, but this whole series is anime based. We've had anime references in every single episode so far, so that is 100% not a coincidence. I'm 100% convinced that that is going to be part of this episode, but you're going to have to be the expert and let me know if that's true. But either way, we're starting episode 7 of My Adventures with Superman right now.
No more secrets, right? So, here's the rest of me.
He took them to Smallville. Look at that.
Lois, it's a spaceship! Look at the pointy boys!
They're obelisks. They project holograms.
Whoa, obelisk.
Obelisk Tormentor.
Clark Kent.
They're so cheesy.
Though sometimes I go by Superman.
But it fits him especially.
Where do you come from?
Outer space. What planet or where? I have no idea.
What can you do?
So sweet.
I know.
Why did you
And
bring
again,
me
I
here?
love it that it's so
Really?
subtle. Like, they're not
Yeah.
making a declaration of love or anything.
When I ask you this, Lois Lane, will you go on a date with me?
Yeah, Clark.
Yeah!
Oh my gosh, this show, I'm ceased to be amazed at how this show can keep me so engaged
I know.
with this story. Like I'm over here like edge of my seat, like, oh, what's she gonna say?
Right. I mean, we don't know her answer yet, so
You're right. What is she gonna say?
I have no nights.
Okay. Here.
So, what is happening here, buddy?
Jimmy! Great timing! I'm taking Lois out for the most romantic evening of her life.
Oh, God.
45, the cherry blossoms in the park bloom at exactly 7 o'clock.
Ooh, cherry blossom, Sakura.
Reservation, then coffee at 9:30.
Finally got a date with the girl of your dreams, and your first move is to make a flowchart?
Oh my god, he's such a nerd. He's so just wholesome.
I know.
Have fun losing your mind. I'm gonna go hang out at Lois's where it's normal and...
Yeah. Jimmy, great. I think I figured out the perfect gift for Clark.
Aww.
Oh,
Sweatpants! My dress at the dry cleaner.
I mean, I wouldn't mind being on a date wearing sweatpants.
What? What?
Most shops own at least one dry cleanable item, not all.
Is that a little like hint of the Terminator scheme?
And
Maybe.
Of the
Done.
Terminator
I can do this.
theme?
It's just
Did I say that already?
I'm Mr. Mxyzptlk, an interdimensional peacekeeper, and I need your help.
Oh god, it's Mr. Mixie. It's Mixie.
Put on your suit and come with me.
Is it weird that
Superman.
I'm immediately
just,
thinking of the
Matter Clark Kent,
Kais
quality
from
reporter
Dragon
with
Ball?
superpowers.
Yeah, the Supreme Kai.
This Earth, Earth 12,
Oh!
Earth 50, Earth 508, weird Earth. The works.
Was I a crab?
This is out there, pal, and...
Oh my gosh.
But I'm here because Lois Lane is in danger.
I'm in shock.
Lois Lane. She's been kidnapped by a gang of interdimensional criminals. These people...
Oh.
You're sure you're not Superman?
Where is
she?
Let's go.
So who would not be a dependable Clark?
I mean, listen, let me put it to you, this way. Mr. Mixie or Mr. Mxyzptlk is like the Loki but like more impish.
Who are you people? Lois Lane?
Whoa.
I'm Lois Lane.
Whoa.
That's Lois Lane, and that's Lewis Lane. We are the League.
Whoa.
Oh, that's so cool.
We were founded by Lois Prime,
Oh,
the first Lois
that's the
to
OG
discover
Lois.
the multiverse.
My name's Jelena Olsen, and unfortunately, it seems I'm you.
Many Olsens are also part of the league.
If I ever get my hands on the jerks who helped that gorilla and the brain open that stupid portal, just not in there.
Wow.
Sus.
Very sus. Oh, is that a thin? Oh, a T-sphere. Thanagarian mace. Oh, the Helm of Fate. I'm such a nerd.
Oh, cosmic rod,
Oh,
flight ring.
what the? What is this place?
Lois was never in danger. I deceived you. But you're not the quickest guy from planet Krypton, are you?
Is that the
What,
key's key? There's so much stuff in here.
Is that where?
Help me break
Oh.
this glass. No! Oh, that's okay. I got it.
Oh my god! This guy's using the cosmic rod like a friggin' crowbar.
Normal. You
Oh, he
are
did the anime
never
pose.
going-
Nani?
But strong enough for one last trick.
Oh.
No, no, no.
This week's episode is definitely gonna be about the multiverse.
Of course.
Telepathic. Horse, I'll show you.
Don't make us watch.
It's time, bird leavers! Equus mensa. Hippos telepathy.
Weird.
Very weird.
Earth 24. Receive.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh my god.
After robbing Earth Prime Space and Superhero Museum.
Oh.
Knew it. No, this has to be a misunderstanding.
Earth
You
One.
know Clark, man, as well as you think you do.
What are those?
Oh, damn.
Only thing that'll take down a Clark. No, I won't let
Whoa.
you do this.
We know.
Oh.
You didn't grab us to help you.
Oh,
Lois.
damn.
You're not League material, but you're enough like us to cause problems.
Well, well, if it isn't Lois, and what's his name?
Fire!
Whoa. Oh. Oh.
What is this?
Our Lois is still on board!
No. What in the world?
Yes, and Mxyzptlk lived happily ever.
Oh.
Excellent lies to avoid this exact scenario. Caught by participation trophy, Lois.
Coordinates required. Master key required.
Wait, League headquarters.
The Justice League. Oh no, the League of Lois.
You met a legion of yourself, and the first thing you did was suspect them of lying? You're the fun one!
Wow. Oh my gosh. There's definitely some like hints of. Oh, that's DCAU Lois. Oh wow, classic Lois.
Play beautiful.
It's a little pretentious in my opinion.
Superwoman
I
Lois.
can't trust.
it's just a
search engine.
It's just a Google search engine. Whoa.
It's now time to take back what's mine.
Oh, the hat. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, that's definitely Dragon Ball-esque.
I'm sorry I ruined our date. No, Lois, this is Lois. You're the only Lois for me.
Aww. Yeah.
I hate that to be a bummer, but could you stop making out before the chaos guy closes up?
Wow. This animation is so great. Oh.
For one last trick.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you can always trust the flame bro to have your back.
Aw.
Oh, oh,
Aw, Jimmy.
better go. Bye.
I was thinking.
Aw.
Treat me to coffee, Smallville? Huh. How do you work?
Whoa. It's like the Red Sun Superman. Oh. Oh wow, Justice Lords.
Have you figured it out yet?
Whoa! Oh.
It'd be much more fun to watch you figure it out.
Kryptonite. Mind blown.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. There's so much to talk about. Oh! Osric Cho from Supernatural was Lois Lane. That's pretty cool. For any of my Supernatural fans out there, I'm sure you will know. But man, what an episode. This show is, I can't praise this show enough. It's so fantastic. The writing is so clean and fresh and so, it just fills me with so much energy. And I get so excited to talk about it because this episode did two things that really impressed me. During an era of multiverse stories. Like, we are in the multiverse era of comic book storytelling between the movies and the comic books and TV shows. And to see this do a 30-minute version of a multiverse story and have it be so clean and use it to help explore the characters of Clark and Lois in such a fulfilling way, I'm so impressed by that. And two, this brought so much DC lore and history into this episode. Like, it's crazy what they were able to do in this one.
I know. It's funny because it's like, I know a lot of people were very critical of the Flash movie having kind of those look backs at older versions of characters and the actors who depicted them. I think this did that even better.
Oh, this is definitely a better version of that, and I am someone who loved the Flash. But I do agree. Not only did we get, because in the Superman, I could probably rattle off, it was the Fleischer Superman from the 1940s, the original Superman cartoons. Then I believe it was like the 1980s, 70s Superman, Super Friends version of Superman. And then it was the DCAU Tim style Superman from Superman the Animated Series and Justice League. So not only did we get those different versions of Superman, but then in that Hall of Lois, and even earlier than that, we got the original Lois design, which is the Earth 1 Lois, which is weird, because I don't know how the Earths in this multiverse work. But then we also got the DCAU Lois from Superman the Animated Series and Justice League. We got Superwoman Lois from the old Silver Age comic books. We've got many. If like any comic book fan could go through that hall and find a bunch of different versions of Lois that do exist in the comic books. Not only that, but then at the end of the episode, we get another array of Supermen, and they're all of the evil Supermen from throughout Superman's history. Well, at least a handful of them. One of them was definitely based off of the Superman Red Sun design, which is a Superman Elseworld story that is, what if Clark landed in Soviet Russia instead of rural Kansas? And that's the Superman, and that was, the first one was definitely based off of that design. The second one appeared to be the Justice Lords version of Superman from the DC animated universe, the Timverse. A lot of Timverse references this episode. And that's another incarnation of an evil Superman. And I tried to figure out which was the last one, but I'm blanking on it. But someone will definitely let me know in the comments if you guys can help me out with that. But what's really cool is we also got, I think, theme-wise, score-wise, we got some references to, obviously, the Terminator with the League of Lois. But also, there was a lot of, my ears were picking up a lot of the old Timverse themes as well throughout the episodes, which is really cool. But I talked for a while now, so you can go ahead.
I mean, look, you know all the lore. You can identify all those characters, because all I'm thinking in my head is, oh, is that based off of an existing character?
Yes, probably.
And that's impressive to me. And I love that. Like, for me, it's interesting. to seeing it like as a new viewer, like, oh, here's all these different versions, but you like can actually identify them in terms of DC lore, and that's even cooler.
As a lifelong DC comic reader, it's so cool to see this stuff still get referenced, like to see people with so much love and positive intentions to this universe deliver a product that's so lovely, like this show. It gets me really excited.
And what I think I can say kind of confidently is what also makes this stand apart from The Flash is they integrated them all in a way that were identifiable to someone like you, but it didn't feel fan servicey.
No.
It just felt like, hey, they're telling a multiverse story.
And it didn't interfere with the narrative.
No, not at all.
And the overall themes of the episode.
Right, because a huge part of it is the fact that it really played on especially Lois's insecurities by like, oh, you're like the bad one.
See, it's episodes like these that really make me question who, if like this is very clearly an ensemble show.
Yeah.
But I really deep down think that Lois is the star of this series.
Well,
I think that she might be the lead of the series.
I don't think that's a hot take at all. The name of the series is literally My Adventures, and I think the only person who can be referred to as My in that case is Lois.
Yeah, there's so much talked about, like, in terms of, like, the themes and thematic storytelling of this episode.
I just want to say really quick, she also literally says, I love my adventures
She
with
does.
you.
She does the little, like, she almost does the little title card drop this episode. What I really like is that what I found interesting, especially in relation to the beginning and the ends of the episode, we start the episode really reflecting on how Clark and Lois have evolved 6 episodes into the story, where we run into Clark, and Clark and Lois are both preparing for this first date, and they both have this nervous energy, and they're both using it. They got past their issues, they've grown, they've matured in the past 6 episodes, and now they're ready to take this next step. And Clark, we meet up with him, and he's just being uncontrollably wholesome, which is just so Clark to his core. And he's dealing with the date in his way. And Lois is doing what Lois does best. She's trying to find the truth. And that's such a core. And she's trying to use her personality and her, skills to kind of like, hey, what should I get Clark for this date? Oh, I'll get him the truth. And I love how, despite how different this Lois is, and we see that throughout this episode, that this Lois is very different from the other Loises. They all have a key defining characteristic, and that is what, especially this one, that makes her so reminiscent of the original Lois, is that she needs to find the truth by all means necessary. She's driven by the desire to find truth.
And that's such a beautiful way of putting it, because, and that's what's so funny, is the other ones, like, you can assume that they're all operating in good faith in terms of assuming that, oh, she's not going to help their cause and they have this mission to go on, even though it's incredibly misguided.
Yeah. And what I love most about, like, where we start with Clark and Lois this episode is that it's really those characteristics that save the day, or that, like, create all of these plot moments throughout the episode. Like, Clark, Mr. Mxyzptlk, by the way, we're going to talk about him in a little bit, or Mixie, which is a nickname he has in the comics, is a really great character to use here, and they really stepped up the design in this series. So we might as well just talk about him now.
Okay, first of all, is that what he normally looks like?
No, he looks like an old. The difference between this Mixie and the normal looking Mixie is that this Mixie is more. One, he calls himself a god of chaos, which Mixie does not usually in the comics. He usually calls himself a fifth-dimensional imp. But he's a trickster. He's a little trickster, and he usually looks like an old man in a bowler hat, like the hat that we see in this episode, in like a purple suit with no sleeves, or sometimes sleeves. And he's got a bald head, and he's got some white puffy hair on the sides of it.
So I have to ask, does that mean he's more reminiscent of old Kai?
Yes, I definitely think, like, there was beyond the DC reference in this episode, there was a lot of anime references.
I know.
In this episode, between the look of Mxyzptlk, which is definitely more anime impish than it is the comic book version of the fifth dimensional imps like Batmite and Mxyzptlk, and the newly introduced Nightwing gets an imp. That's cool. But it definitely, they're like the Lois with the Kingdom Heart. She
looked exactly like freaking Sora.
Yeah,
she
Sora
was holding
design.
a key.
She had a key sword. which I thought was really cool. So this show's constantly introducing us to different anime references throughout it. But yeah, Mxyzptlk is definitely more animified in this show. And it's actually funny because in the comics, there's this prevailing theory, and it carries over into the animated universes as well, that there's only one Mxyzptlk in the entire multiverse of DC. That has been proven wrong in the comics at different points, but like this episode doesn't deconfirm it. Like they have the hat. Like, so for anyone complaining like, oh, he doesn't look like that like in the comics, well, he obviously can change shapes. He's a magical fifth dimensional super being.
Yeah.
And yeah, the hat's there. So clearly he looked like that at some point during his existence.
Right, and you literally just said that he's kind of like Loki.
Yeah.
You can also shapeshift, by the way.
This guy can definitely shapeshift. We see him change forms in this episode, like slightly.
Yeah. So, but that's really cool though.
Yeah.
I just got really excited because he looks so much like a Kai.
Yeah, that's definitely very Dragon Ball inspired. I'm definitely getting Kai looks, especially from the hair.
Oh
like
my
the
god.
hair alone and that's the outfit.
Literally, like, particularly Supreme, Old, and Kibito, they all had the puffy white hair.
What about Kibito Kai?
Yeah. Well, I said the two of them separately.
I know, I just love that. I just love it. I figured I would trip you up with that.
I mean, that's valid though, because he is his own character for a good amount of time.
What a wild show. This show so far has been very like, we're gonna tell a story, we're gonna tell a straightforward story for the past couple episodes. Last episode, they got a little crazy with Mala in the brain. This episode, they're like, we're gonna throw everything at you. We're gonna introduce Mxyzptlk, and we're gonna throw the multiverse at you and a League of Lois, but we're still gonna tell a super tight story revolved around Clark's humanity and Clark's desire to do good and Lois's quest for the truth and her untrust and her wanting to see the truth behind situations.
And that actually was something I was wondering is, oh my gosh, are they actually going to cram all of this into one episode? But I also feel like cram is a disservice to describe it because it's like, oh, it actually still feels paced properly.
Yeah. Yeah, and what not only was it paced properly, but the story beats happened so fast that it's really hard for people to catch, I think, a lot of what happened in this episode. But it's so great at building our characters, because the whole like premise of this is, oh, you can't trust Clark. Maybe Superman's not as good as you think. But all we see Superman doing in this episode is what he believes is the right thing, is good, right? He knew Mr. Mxyzptlk was bad when they got transported to Earth 14.
Yeah.
But yet he still, when they fired the kryptonite guns at him, he still shielded him from the blast.
Yeah.
Because he's so selfless. He's so undeniably selfless that he was gonna take that shot just because it's not, he can't watch this person get killed. Mm-hmm. And that to me is so perfectly definably Superman to its core, that it's and then continuously throughout the episode. And then Lois's big arc throughout the episode is, you're not good enough. You're the runner-up, Lois. You're the dumb one.
Because you don't have a Pulitzer at 21.
You don't have a Pulitzer, and you're single, and you're dumb, and I don't know, whatever. She's the runner-up, Lois, right? But she's the only one that solves the problem.
Yeah.
Like, all of them are flailing around, doing like trying to be action heroes.
They're just shooting up. It's just a shoot 'em up.
And she uses her brain and solves the entire problem. Not only that, but her quick thinking is really what stops Mxyzptlk throughout the episode.
And I would also say, obviously, she has some bias because she is close to him personally. She's also the only one that's willing to let trust Superman.
Yeah.
Because they're all so, like, whatever this predetermination is that they're all convinced of is like, oh no, he's terrible.
Yeah. And she's the only one who's like, oh man, like maybe he's not terrible.
Right.
Like maybe he's not. But what's great about it is this episode fully. This is a Lois episode. As much as Clark gets a lot of attention in this episode, this is 100% a Lois episode, because her theme from beginning to end works so perfectly, because she starts the episode admitting like, hey, the past like 6 episodes, like I just feel really insecure about, like, Clark's always helping me, but I feel like I'm not pulling my weight. I feel like I'm not doing enough. She has all of this baggage that she's carrying around from her father, and she just feels so, like, I don't want to say worthless, but she doesn't feel like she is worth as much as she really is. And then this episode sees not only is she worth every penny, but like every penny, like she's like, not only I don't want to say worthy, I'm trying to find the words here. Not only is she worthy and she is good enough and she is better than she thinks she is, but she's maybe the best of all the other Loises, because she's the only one who's like able to see clearly and see the situation clearly and save the day. So not only is she worthy of being in that League of Lois, she's the best Lois.
She is. Maybe we're biased or something, but she is.
I'm not gonna lie, I think this Lois may be one of my favorite Loises in all of the DC multiverse.
Wow.
She's so good. She's so realistic and human. And like so incredibly flawed, but real and wonderful. Like, yeah, why not?
Why not? I mean, coming from you, that is a high compliment.
Yeah, and I think that this episode does a really good job of telling a Lois Lane story, and it's just, there's so much that goes on. It's wild. It really is wild.
Oh no, like, and it was nonstop beginning to end.
Yeah, and then you even get like the little, like Jimmy even, and again, the show is it does such a good juggling act between these three characters, because even Jimmy gets his moments, right? His character development moments. Like, hey, there's a Janala Olsen? Janala Olsen.
Jalana. Oh my god, it's in front of us.
There's so many names, guys. We got thrown so many names.
Yeah, but you Mxyzptlk.
I've been reading comic books my entire life. I know how to say Mxyzptlk, okay? Or Mixie
Good
for
for
short.
you.
But Jalana, but the name is easy to say as Jalana.
Yeah.
A name that is phonetically spelled the way it sounds, like Jalana. I can't pronounce.
It has all the vowels.
You're right. What is comics? What have you done to me? I should pronounce his name Jamie Olsen. Jaminini Olsen.
Oh my god.
But anyway, this show does such a great job because he gets that moment. He gets the moment at the end where he's like, "Oh, I'm the wingman. See you later, buddy." And the romance subplot. To have it, the last 3 episodes alone have been such an emotional roller coaster for this series that I'm really curious. Like, and then they clearly know what they're doing, and every episode feels like a peak and valley in this relationship, and it never feels like it's gonna get stale because there's still 17 different things I could see happening next in the series, and we barely touched the surface.
Yeah. Oh my god. And like, do you know how many episodes are in this season?
I don't know. Someone in the comments let us know how many episodes. I'm sure we will look it up after this, but also let us know in the comments because that would be cool. But we also get Mixie telling Clark and Lois about Krypton. Like, hey, you're Kryptonian. He's like, is that what I am? And he also, to kind of like ebb and flow Clark's story, he also says like, in every universe you're alone and you're weird and you're by yourself. And that's kind of Clark's season-long story arc, right?
Right. And that's what's so crazy is the fact that we know that he's capable of lying. And we obviously know to some extent that that's not 100% true. But it still plays on his insecurities.
Absolutely, which is the cold open of this episode. Like Clark opening himself up more than he ever has. It's like bringing them to Smallville, showing them his spaceship. And then it's him going like, hey, I don't want to be alone, so I'm doing this. I'm opening myself up to you guys. Because I don't want to be alone anymore. I don't want to walk this alone.
And no more lies.
And then to have Mixie go to him like, oh, you're always weird and you're always alone and no one likes you.
You're never normal.
And you're a loser and like all of these things. And it's just like, that's really heartbreaking. And that, I can imagine that playing on him like deep down emotionally. But yeah, and also the introduction of the concept of Krypton and Kryptonian, which Clark and Lois both now know. And Lois is in possession of kryptonite. By the way, I really like the use of kryptonite in this show.
Yeah.
How it not only does it sneak up his veins, like I really like when kryptonite does that, but also that it's like grows rocks, like it like crystallizes almost.
Yeah, it's more than just, oh, he feels sick now.
Yeah, it crystallizes out of his pores, which is really interesting. But this show is so great at creating new and interesting concept, like new takes on older concepts.
Absolutely.
Man, and I know we've been going long, but there's so much in this episode to talk about. I have to bring up the stuff from Earth 1, the like hall of superheroes and super weapons that we see.
Oh my god.
Yeah, which at first I thought it might have been the Justice Society's like headquarters, and I'm like, oh my god, are we gonna get Justice Society?
I mean, Fate's helmet was there.
On this, like, it's Fate's helm, it's a T-Sphere from Mr. Terrific, it's a Thanagarian or Nth Metal Mace from Hawkman and Hawkwoman. What else is there? There's a Legion of Superhero Flight Ring, which is very important to Superman's history in the comics. They're first introduced in the Superman story, the Legion. There's so much stuff there. Obviously there's the Helm of Fate, which poor Naboo, he got thrown around a little bit. There's the Cosmic Control Rod. They're not two different. Cosmic Staff, which is Cosmic Rod, which is Stargirl's weapon. Starman, Stargirl. So there's a ton of stuff in that room, and I'm sure I missed a bunch of things, but that's what you guys are here for. You're gonna let me know in the comments. I mean, I only watched this episode once. I couldn't catch everything during the reaction. But yeah, there's all that cool stuff in there. So go back and check through it, skim through it. I'm sure there's a lot to find. If you like this video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. If you want to watch the rest of our My Adventures with Superman reactions, click the link on the page. And until next time, guys, stay versed.